You open your phone for a few minutes. Someone your age has bought a house. Someone else is traveling the world. A former classmate has launched a successful business. Another person looks healthier, happier, richer, and more confident than you feel. Nothing has been taken from you. Your life has not changed. Yet what seemed acceptable a moment ago suddenly feels inadequate. This is the comparison trap. It convinces you that another person's success is evidence of your failure. It turns admiration into resentment, gratitude into dissatisfaction, and ordinary life into a competition you never agreed to enter. The Stoics understood this problem long before social media made it impossible to ignore. They knew that envy does not begin with what another person possesses. It begins with the judgment that their possession somehow diminishes your worth. Because envy begins in judgment, it can be defeated by changing the way you see. The first Stoic principle is simple: focus on what is within your control. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us, while others are not. Your choices, values, effort, and character belong to you. Other people's wealth, reputation, beauty, opportunities, and achievements do not. Comparison becomes painful when you measure yourself by things you cannot fully control. You compare salaries without comparing circumstances. You compare results without comparing sacrifices. You compare your private struggles to someone else's public victories. But even if you knew every detail of their life, the comparison would still be useless. Their path is not your responsibility. Yours is. A Stoic does not ask, "Am I doing better than them?" A Stoic asks, "Am I acting better than I did yesterday?" Replace social comparison with personal examination, and envy loses much of its power. Another person can be more successful without making you less valuable. They can be further ahead without proving that you are behind. Your task is not to outrun strangers. It is to govern yourself. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself to return to his own work. He lived at the center of an empire, surrounded by ambition, status, rivalry, praise, and betrayal. Yet he understood that obsessing over other people was a form of self-abandonment. Every minute spent resenting another person is a minute taken from your own development. Envy appears focused on them, but its victim is you. It consumes your attention and weakens your ability to act. The Stoic response is not denial, but noticing the feeling before it becomes a philosophy. You may feel the first sting of comparison automatically. That is human. But what happens next is a choice. You can feed the thought, "They have what I deserve. Life is unfair. I will never catch up." Or you can examine it, "What exactly am I judging? Why have I decided that their success makes my life worse? Is this thought useful, true, or within my control?" Stoicism creates a pause between impression and reaction. In that pause, freedom begins. Another Stoic lesson is to separate appearance from reality. Envy is built on incomplete information. You see the promotion, not the anxiety. The beautiful relationship, not the private conflict. The impressive body, not the years of discipline or unhealthy obsession. The luxury lifestyle, not the debt or loneliness beneath it. This does not mean every successful person is secretly miserable. That is reverse envy, comforting yourself by imagining that those above you must be suffering. The deeper point is that you do not know the full cost of another person's life. Every life is a complete package. You cannot select one visible advantage and ignore everything attached to it. Epictetus warned that if you want another person's rewards, you must also be willing to pay the price they paid. This turns envy into information. Instead of asking, "Why do they have that?" ask, "What does their achievement reveal about what is possible? What price did they pay? Am I willing to pay something similar?" Sometimes their success awakens a neglected ambition, allowing envy to become action. At other times, you realize you do not want their life, only the approval or status associated with it. Many people chase goals they never consciously chose. They inherit definitions of success from family, culture, advertising, and algorithms. Then they feel inferior for not winning a game that does not reflect their values. Stoicism asks you to define the good more carefully. For the Stoics, the highest good was not money, fame, pleasure, or admiration. It was virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. External things could be preferred, but they could not determine whether a life was good. This is the ultimate cure for comparison. When character becomes your standard, other people lose the ability to make you feel inferior merely by possessing more. Someone may have more followers, but are they wiser? Someone may earn more money, but are they more honest? Someone may receive more praise, but do they act courageously when no one is watching? More importantly, are you becoming wiser, more honest, courageous, and disciplined? Those are comparisons worth making because they return responsibility to you. You cannot control whether the world recognizes your efforts. You can control whether your efforts are honorable. You cannot control whether others move faster. You can control whether you move with purpose. You cannot control who is applauded. You can control who you become when no one applauds. Stoicism also defeats envy through gratitude, but not the shallow kind that merely repeats positive thoughts. Stoic gratitude comes from remembering how temporary everything is. Marcus Aurelius reflected often on change, death, and time. Not to become gloomy, but to see clearly. The people you envy are mortal. The status you desire will fade. Beauty changes. Wealth changes hands. Fame is forgotten. Even the people whose approval seems essential will one day disappear. When viewed from the scale of time, much of what provokes envy becomes strangely small. This does not make achievement meaningless. It places achievement in perspective. You can pursue excellence without worshipping recognition, and admire another person without turning their life into a verdict on your own. Remembering mortality also reveals what comparison steals from you, the life already happening. While you are looking sideways, your own days are passing. There are people to love, skills to build, work to complete, and ordinary moments to appreciate. But comparison makes the present feel like a waiting room. It says life will begin once you become richer, more attractive, or more admired. The Stoic rejects this postponement. Your life is not elsewhere. It is here, in the choices available today. There is also a practical way to weaken envy: practice sympathetic joy. When another person succeeds, deliberately wish them well. This may feel unnatural because the ego imagines a limited supply of success and worth. But another person's achievement does not reduce your capacity for excellence. Their victory belongs to them. Your response belongs to you. By celebrating what is good in others, you learn to see excellence without feeling threatened. Successful people become evidence, teachers, or fellow travelers rather than rivals. This is not passivity. You can celebrate another person and still compete. You can respect an opponent and still aim to win. Stoicism does not ask you to abandon ambition. It asks you to purify ambition of bitterness. Healthy ambition says, their achievement inspires me to work. Envy says, their achievement must be reduced so I can feel whole. One creates. The other corrodes. The comparison trap is defeated through repeated practice, not a single insight. The next time envy appears, name it. Do not hide it beneath criticism or pretend it is moral outrage. Say, I am comparing. I feel threatened by their success. Then ask 3 questions. Is this within my control? What value do I believe their success gives them? What action can I take in my own life right now? The first question restores boundaries. The second exposes your assumptions. The third converts emotion into movement. The action may be working for an hour, practicing gratitude, unfollowing an account that distorts your perspective, congratulating someone sincerely, or returning to the task in front of you. Each time you do this, you strengthen the habit of returning to yourself. You do not defeat envy by becoming the most successful person in the room. There will always be someone wealthier, younger, more talented, more admired, or further ahead in some category. You defeat envy by refusing to base your peace on rank. The goal is not to have a life no one can surpass. The goal is to build a mind that does not need to feel superior in order to feel secure. Let others have their victories. Let them be praised. Let them walk paths different from yours. Your duty remains the same, to think clearly, act honorably, use what you have, and meet this day with courage. Comparison asks, why am I not them? Stoicism asks, am I becoming who I should be? One question produces resentment. The other produces a life.